How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another video. My name is Ryan Roots. I'm an online reseller. I have been full-time reselling stuff online for the past 10 years. And right now we're doing daily vlogs. So I'm just taking you through my day as a full-time reseller. And I think the best way to start today's video is by showing you some stuff that sold for us on eBay over the weekend. So today is Monday the 12th, Monday, May 12th at 1:13 p.m. And here are some sales. I'm gonna flip it over to our wonderful friend and employee, Callie, and she's gonna show you some of our stuff that sold on eBay over this past weekend.
What's up, guys? We got some cool sales for you. These are some Hoka One One running shoes. Great condition. Ryan just got these. We listed them. They sold pretty quickly for $80. And then we have these fancy schmancy turbis cups. Perfect if you have a sailing boat or some kind of boat. Those sold for $40 together. We have these two folk art paintings. Those sold for $40. We have these Ariat fire resistant work pants, jeans, denim. Those sold for $55. We got a little Napa hat sold for $24. We got an Affliction shirt that sold for $34.87. And we have this cool Marvin the Martian Looney Tunes keychain, vintage, that sold for $22. All right. Then we have these TYR weightlifting shoes. Great condition. These shoes sold for $115. And probably my favorite, Comedy Central vintage hat, that sold for $60. We got a Columbia hat, vintage, PFG, that sold for $20. And then this beautiful vintage Trigun t-shirt. Ryan, pop up the back image of it. I don't want to unfold it. It sold for $130. Let's go.
Thank you, Callie. Those are actually some really good sales. I think my favorite was probably the Hoka One One shoes that I bought at Goodwill for $10. Those flipped in like a couple of days for $80. So those are good little flip. And speaking of sales, we also ran a Whatnot show, which I mentioned in the past couple videos, but we ran a little Whatnot show. We were live for 30 minutes on a different person's account. So they do a show where like a bunch of people sell their stuff. They get like little time spots to sell their t-shirts. And we ran, I believe there were 20 pieces or so. I'll show you everything quick. But we ended up clearing, after fees and everything, we sold all of it for $1,806 or something like that. So yeah, that's what those shirts are back there. But $1,800 for like 20 something pieces. I'll show you what shirt sold right now. All right, t-shirts. Tales from the Crypt sold for $83. Pink Floyd sold for $68, which I think is super cheap for that one. Kanye sold for $125. Kurt Cobain sold for $125. The Marilyn Manson sold for $96. Nine Inch Nails sold for $99. Spawn AOP sold for $100. Train Spotting movie promo sold for $99. The Disney Villains shirt sold for $80. The Smashing Pumpkins, this was the biggest sale of the night. This sold for $285. The Cruella de Vil shirt sold for $120. Elmo sold for $81. The Alien Encounters shirt sold for $75. The Invader Zim shirt only sold for $38. The Ken Griffey Jr. baseball N64 shirt, this sold for $135. Star Wars went for $32. The Keith Sweat shirt sold for $68. This Bugs Bunny shirt sold for $141. Jurassic Park sold for $50. Small Soldiers sold for $57. And my Alice in Wonderland shirt sold for $81. Also, if you are at all interested, our next big Whatnot show is this coming Thursday. It is an all vintage Grateful Dead t-shirt show. So all of these are vintage Grateful Dead shirts. There's 100 of them. And we're not talking like simple tees. These are expensive, very rare, high quality Grateful Dead pieces. Some good all over prints, some good quality Grateful Dead tees. All of these are going to be run as an auction starting at $1. Look at this one. This one's super rare. Crazy. So all of these are getting auctioned off this Thursday, the 15th. At 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I'll put a link in the description of today's video. If you want to come to this show, buy something, or just watch it go down, you can click on that link in the description and come join us. We actually have another really big vintage t-shirt show coming up. It's over here, stacked up right there. Whole bunch of stuff. It's like 200 pieces. I'm doing it with another buddy of mine, Trey Jones. We're both running like 100 t-shirts each. But someone reached out to me because they saw this one. They saw this one listed on our Whatnot store for pre-bids. And they were like, hey, would you be willing to sell me that shirt before the show? Because I've been looking for it for a while. So I was like, well, I mean, I would be, but I would have to get, you know, the right price for it. So they asked how much, and I said $200, and they agreed to that. So the Mrs. Doubtfire, beautiful Mrs. Doubtfire vintage t-shirt, this has been sold for $200. I'm gonna replace it in the show with a different t-shirt, probably of the same caliber. But yeah, this is a cool one. I actually have this one in a pullover, but this is the t-shirt version. I'm gonna miss this shirt. One of the best movies ever, R.I.P. Robin Williams. Hello! Okay, next on the agenda today, it's 5:18 p.m. Traffic is really bad in this area until about like 6:30. So usually if I stay a little bit later up at the warehouse, I leave by 6:30-ish, and it usually takes about 40 minutes to an hour to get home from where we are, which is one of the main reasons why we are trying to move out this way, out here onto this property, is because the commute is annoying. The traffic in this area is wild. But anyway, next on the agenda today, this warehouse here, I don't know if I've shown you this whole little warehouse space that we made. But we used to be in a warehouse, the one that we're turning into our house, into the barn dominium. That warehouse was 3,400 square feet, and that's where we used to run our business out of. Now we have this space, which is about 700 square feet, and we have the space next door as well. But that space is not fully air conditioned and like climate controlled like this space. So we went from 3,400 square feet to about 700 square feet, and we've kind of had to like fit everything into this one little space. And as you can see, it's a bit of a mess. And I don't do very well in chaotic. I mean, I cause a lot of chaos in the environment, and then I don't usually do a very good job organizing. I'm not a very good organizer. Thank God for Allie and Callie, because they keep me organized. But one thing I can do at least is pick some stuff up and try to clean up this warehouse a bit. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to try to organize the space a little bit better so that it's easier to move around and we're not bumping into things. Take my desk, for example. It's a mess. Let's clean it up. Hey, y'all want to see something really cool? Well, I think it's cool anyway. So this is the very first fanny pack that I ever used when I was recording video at garage sales. I called it my hidden GoPro fanny pack. I even did a video on it like 7 years ago. But yeah, I would take the GoPro, cut this little hole out. I'd take the GoPro and slide it in there, and then I'd wear my fanny pack to yard sales and record the footage that way. But yeah, this is the exact fanny pack that I used. I still have it. I'll probably keep it forever. There we go. That's better. All right, y'all. I got the warehouse decently clean. It's a lot better than it was, at least, so that's good. It's 6:04. I'm going to head home. Traffic isn't too bad, so I'm going to end the video here. I know it's a shorter video today. We'll have longer ones out in the future, but I wanted to get up a daily vlog. At least you got to see some eBay sales and some Whatnot sales. So please come and join our Whatnot shows. They're a lot of fun. Go check out our eBay store if you would like to. Leave any questions or comments that you have in the comment section of today's YouTube video. And don't forget to subscribe and watch some of our other YouTube content. We have, oh my gosh, 1,100 videos, something like that on YouTube, spanning back 8 years. So lots and lots of reseller content. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these daily vlogs. I'm Ryan Roots. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.